RT McClain. As you see on the screen, Navy veteran, completed 30 years, 1 month, and 15 days. United States Navy. I recently transitioned. It'll be 1 year, July 1st. So I still going through the transition process. As we all know, transition is an ongoing system. Hometown from Port Arthur, Texas, right up the road here. One of my main reasons for selling down in San Antonio was it was close to home and it was kind of like a known quantity. Some of my top skills I pride myself on is people management, program management, event planning, problem solving, and most definitely having a sense of humor. I guess we can all agree. Doing 30 years or doing any amount of time in the military, you have to have a sense of humor in order to be able to survive. One of the things I pride myself on is the slogan of teamwork makes the dream work. In the military, we're known for working together as teams, and we're strong as an individual, but we're mighty as a group. So really pride myself on working together as a team. And being from Texas, I'm sure everybody loved America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. So it's my team as well. USO, little small thing about the USO Pathfinder program. The Pathfinder program works together with many other organizations. Our primary goal is to assist transition service members and their spouses throughout the transition process. We assist in many different areas from employment, education, VA benefits, legal, family strength and wellness. Anything associated with your transition, we try to step in and help you out in any way possible. As Sharon said, I mean, you wouldn't deploy, you wouldn't do anything without having a plan. Just like big on deployment, you always have a buddy. We like to think of ourselves as that buddy system to help you throughout and kind of clear the white noise of anything, as you're transitioning to help you get a more tailored approach to what it is you're trying to do. So it's a whole lot more about the Pathfinder program, but connect offline if you're interested in that. Key thing I want to mention is that the Pathfinder program works perfectly with any other transition program you have out there. We're never intended to try to replace something. We can operate alone if need be, but we, as I said, work together as a team, and I really pride ourselves on that. So please feel free to reach out to us in the future if you want any additional assistance with transitioning needs. All right, again, I'm talking to you a little bit today about networking. What is networking, how to network, personal branding, preparation, action, and maintaining your personal network. Okay, so what is networking? I mean, we hear that word a whole bunch, but in career development, networking is the process by which people establish meaningful professional relationships with each other. In the military, we normally operate on a transactional basis. You give me something, I give you something. Well, the networking in the civilian profession is best to develop relationships so there's to be long lasting. In the career development context, networking refers to the process by which professionals establish meaningful relationships with one another. Think of it as creating an invisible web of coherent connections between you and other people. Each strand on the web serving a two-way conductor to try to get information back and forth with each other, what you're interested in, what the other person is interested in, and how you can help each person. Just as any web, it's a living entity. You have to feed it. You have to stay alive, you have to feed it by making connections with each other and maintaining those connections through continued interaction. If you make a connection, don't stop interacting with it. You have to constantly interact with it to feed it, to help it, or else it'll disappear. And the web shrinks and you lose your efficiency, your effectiveness. The goal is to have a large and effective and healthy web, just as you did in the military. No matter how much time you were in the military, I'm sure it was large and effective, the amount of people that you connected with. So you have the same ability to do that in the civilian sector as well. The important piece to this is to remember that this is a two-way street. It's not one way. As you transition, you might feel as though you don't have as much to offer as the other person, but let me let you know now, this is Sharon was saying, you do. And as you learn to find out what your voice is in the civilian sector, it'll become louder and stronger. Each of these relationships must be nurtured and taken care of all throughout the process. Okay. Talk about that to the street. All right, how do you network? Network is the process of establishing personal branding. In order to establish a personal brand, you have to prepare for it, take action, and maintain it. This process is a consistent cycle of cycles and recycles as you go through your career development process. It's never ending. Even once you get a job, you constantly re-identifying yourself and staying sharp on it to make sure that you're fresh and relevant. Um, I just provided this picture here to kind of just show you as an example, a person going from Army, from military to civilian sector. I used Army, I figured Ms. Sharon would definitely appreciate that. But I use that as a very generic sense in that the skills associated on the right-hand side, you see there, um, no matter who you are, whatever branch of service you were in, whether officer, enlisted, or whatever you did, I'm positive that each and every one of you have these skills, whether you realize it or not. Leadership, people development, program management, communication, organization, risk management, event planning, presentations, and problem solving. If any amount of thought to what you did, I'm sure that you can identify that. And each of those skills are definitely marketable and very valuable on the civilian side, on the civilian sector.
Hey, RT, will you please forgive me, but I wanted to make a quick comment about networking,
Yes.
if you don't mind.
Yes,
Ladies, I just wanted to share with you. Um, I quit. I really got my first two positions after I retired from the military by networking. My first job, I was a SFO TAP counselor. Um, I when I went to the workshop, I had to go through it twice. And like the last time I did it, they had like a IT function. I was Signal, so I was able to help them get the comms back up. And I started flipping slides, and just from that, and it was like, oh, you're so helpful. That was like my first real job after I retired. And from working at TAP, I had to go down to the SFAC. I had to go down to where the Wounded Warriors are or were. And that's how I got my first position with the Texas Veterans Commission. Just from working with TVC daily, and they saw how I took care of folks, they said, hey, would you want to be part of this team? But the main reason I wanted to bring this up as an SFL TAP counselor, during my daily interaction, I was around some big wigs, GS 15s, GS, 14s, and all that. And I just developed a relationship with one of the hiring managers. So I'm trying to keep it generic, but he was asking me, he said, hey, I was Stu, me and him would just walk the track together. There's a track around where we worked. He said, I'm thinking about hiring so-and-so. I was like, sir, whatever you do is up to you. I said, but I used to be his company commander. That man didn't want to come to formation. And that's a O3 level, because I know we're purple right now. I said, he didn't want to take his PT test. He didn't want to go to the range. I said, I don't see him coming out of the military knowing how to be part of a team. So as a contractor, making $15, $16 an hour, because I developed a relationship with somebody way up, just on a personal level, I'm definitely not saying I curbed that man's possibility, but his character, I just told him the honest assessment. So I think that might be a way of networking. You don't know who you need. You don't burn bridges as you get out the military. You don't know who can help you. You don't know who can benefit you. So networking is for real, for real, for real. And this guy, he wound up getting another GS job. But when they're looking at bringing you up on such a high level, you got to be part of the team. So networking is real. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, RT.
thank you, very welcome. Yeah. In regards to personal branding, the first step of effective in personal branding, it's exactly the same thing that people do in the marketing area. They in the world of marketing and use in sales, they use branding to effectively sell their products to target audiences. Um, a personal brand is exactly the same thing in the civilian sector. It's how you market yourself to the professional world. When creating a personal brand, you need to consider the image you want to present to the professional world and the message that you want to convey to them. In the military, it was pretty easy because the uniform that we wore and everything did that for us. You look at the pictures on the screen, you tell that that person was a captain in the Army. So they have some type of leadership skills, more than likely some type of college education. And the lady to the right, very sharply dressed, you know that she's very sharp, but don't have a clear idea as to what her background might be. That's where it comes to you establishing that personal brand to be able to convey that information to people. And a lot of times it's going to have to be done verbal and through your actions as well, so that people can know what's going on with you and what you bring to the table. So personal brand, the ideal personal brand, of course, is like the sweet spot right there in the middle. Um, as a civilian, when you're creating this brand, some different questions to ask yourself is, what are my strengths? What am I already known for? What am I passionate about? What would I like to accomplish in my lifetime? How do I define success? What do employers remember about me? So finding something right there in the middle, is like the ideal situation to where that would be your brand, to where anytime a person looks at you, knows you, and talks about you, all that information is kind of conveyed in that, because you are relaying information about what all you're interested in. Once you have an idea as to what your brand is, you incorporate that into how you speak to others professionally, how you write your resumes, your cover letters, anything that you use to communicate with people. You make sure that that is conveyed to people. So it's constantly backing up what you're saying on a regular basis and trying to be as consistent as possible. As we discussed in the beginning, I mean, it's a living document, it's a living, the web is constantly living, so you constantly have to adjust it, and it does require work. There's not anything that can't be accomplished. It's just, you're investing more in yourself. And the military spend a lot of time investing in others, and throughout personal branding and transition, you spend more time investing in yourself and identifying who you are. The key thing that I want to, I guess, reiterate or talk about is the fact that, while you're from the transition from the military to civilian, you can either continue on the same track that you've been doing, whatever your specialty might have been in the military, or you can totally redefine yourself. You have that option. Um, Throughout my process, I was told that I'm now a free agent. I've been used to being a part of an organization forever, and I can now identify myself or re-identify myself as whatever I want to be, and stay there however long I want to, based upon what it is that I want to. All right. As I said before, it's a process. So any process, you want to definitely make sure that you're prepared for it. These are some of the documents here listed that you would, prepare for prior to doing networking. Everybody has seen a resume before, a business card, and social media. But how you prepare for and how those documents, reflect what your personal brand is, that is going to be key, because sometimes that might be what stands on its own for you. Personal story of myself, kind of jump around a little bit. I was getting on LinkedIn when I first started transitioning. One of my goals was to connect with as many recruiters in the area as possible, just to get to know who they were. I reached out to this one recruiter at this major organization, and I just asked for a connection with them. And that's all I asked for. I didn't ask for anything else. And immediately they replied, well, hey, if you don't mind, send me your resume. So without me getting any opportunity to give them an idea as to who I was, that resume had to convey, what I was all about. So just make sure all your documents are in line with each other as much as possible, so that whenever someone gets it, it kind of helps them to remember who you are, and to help make them identify that, you should be a definite part of the team. Um, we all know that a resume is a summative document that represents your individual career experiences and accomplishments. Resumes are used to help people market who they are and what it is that they want to do, and how they can help the organizations. Uh, your resume should help any employer understand the skills, abilities, and qualifications you possess, in addition to how you will help that organization be successful. Business cards, well, jumping back, resumes, there's no one-stop shop for resumes. That's going to be a constant changing document. Targeting your resume to whatever the job is that you want to do is key. So get used to that, changing it to whatever you want to adjust it to. And there's many organizations that are able to help you out with this process. And I guess if nothing else, know that you're definitely not alone while you're going through this. There's many people that's able to help you, and free is the key word. You're worth investing in yourself, paying some money if need be, but a lot of stuff is offered to you free of charge. So make sure I'd like to encourage you to take advantage of that first before spending money and stuff. Business cards is highly encouraged when you're doing networking events, to have a business card readily available with you. And some of the basic information that you want to have in your business card, I mean, you can do this as simple as printing it from your printer at home, or you can go online and get some free templates, and or go to VistaPrint and pay about $10 or so to get something printed. But with that, you have to remember, as you're networking, you might have a short window of opportunity to connect with someone. And you want to make sure that information like who you are, your contact information, your LinkedIn profile, and your branding is included on that, so people can know who you are after the fact. I've heard many stories about, some folks just taking pride in how many business cards that they maintain of other people. But you definitely want your business card to be one that somebody uses and reaches back out to. Social media, just going to touch on that just a little bit because I know Brian's going to be talking a little bit later on about LinkedIn and the power of LinkedIn and how to expand your personal network through LinkedIn. But as we know, social media is one of the key platforms that people use to communicate with nowadays. Employers have started using social media to recruit and evaluate people's talent. So be mindful what it is that you put out there, because again, similar to the military, oftentimes people are looking at and monitoring what you're doing without you knowing whatsoever what is that's going on. At the same time, be very hopeful and positive that the people that you're already connected with can definitely serve as sources for helping you get connected with other people. Your first, second, and third degree of connections could be used as a helpful networking contact. The key to it is, like I said, to monitor your presence and to make sure that it reflects, who you are. And that might require you to go back and delete maybe some of the photos and comments that you had before, because as we change and evolve in our professional development, things we're interested in changes as well. So constantly keep that up to date. Your profile should definitely be strong. Make sure your profiles are strong and reflect on who you are. It's a snapshot, and oftentimes the only thing that people might be able to see. As you go on social media, I encourage you to join different groups that you might be interested in and start connecting with different people. Within the Pathfinder program, a lot of things I hear about is like SHRM, PMI, Project Management Institute, alumni from different colleges that you go to. So just find different groups that you're interested in and participate in before, and maybe join them as well, so that you can expand your professional network. All right. So you've done a lot of preparation, you get ready, now it's time to put things into action. You created a personal brand, you prepared your essential networking tools, you got your resumes, your business cards, and your social media system is up to date now. So what do? You may not know it, like I said already, but you already have a good network in place from the people that you were connected with via the military. So reach out to those folks. Somebody told me, tag as many people as possible. Connect with as many people as possible. It's kind of a confidence builder. Prior to me transitioning, I didn't spend a lot of time on social media, so I didn't feel like I was really equipped to kind of make it happen. But once I got out there, I got to connect with people, reaching out, people saying yes. You'd be amazed how many people want to help you be successful in your transition, and they want to give back to help you make a smooth transition. So reach out, and the likelihood of people saying no is possible, but 9 times out of 10, people want to help you be successful. So from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, whatever service you're in, I encourage you to reach out to maybe do a search of people that have that in common with you. Then you might want to go to officer enlisted or whatever that you're interested in. Just do that generic search and start reaching out to people and see who responds back to you. To help get you organized with that, maybe identify and prioritize, who it is you want to connect with, is like what type of job and what field are you interested in, so that your research and your approach can be more targeted. Because once you look at that list from the branch of service you're in, your officer enlisted, the school you went to, places you've lived at, favorite sports team, the list is going to be pretty long. You start tailoring that down to who it is that has similar interests with you as far as the job that you're trying to do, and maybe reach out to those people first. As reaching out to those people, ideally face-to-face is the way that you like to communicate with people. Operating in a COVID-19 environment, we know that's kind of limited, but as you think about it, we're actually operating face-to-face right now using WebEx, got Zoom available, and other type of things as well. So when possible, utilize that, but there's always email and telephone. But the key thing I want you to take away from this is take action. Take action to make sure that your future is in your hands and you're helping to grow your personal network by connecting with people. It says get up, get out, and get involved. like I said, just taking action with it. It's easy to sit behind a computer and do different things, but also going to networking events. Identifying networking events here in San Antonio, military city LinkedIn Mill City has events on a monthly basis where people are able to connect with. Doing a search on Eventbrite, there's no shortage of opportunities for people to go to networking events. When I did my transition, I started off in California. So one of my coaches, somebody I connected with on one of the mentoring sites, Veterati, actually recommended to me, like, hey, while I'm out there in California, go to as many networking events as possible, because almost like, what do you have to lose with it? Because you're reaching out to people that, you could very well see again, but you probably may or may not do that. So utilize any opportunity you have to network with people, to get used to it. Before you know it, you'll be that veteran in the room, so to say, and identifying the people that are definitely new to networking events and helping them feel more comfortable. I said utilizing social media. I talked about that before, and Brian's going to talk about that a little bit more later on. But getting involved with as many groups as possible that you can. And with these, with the different meetings or trying to connect with people, make sure that you dress and represent yourself in the way that you want people to receive you. No matter how laid back the environment might be, just remember that you're kind of not always being looked at or judged, but they're always considering the opportunity. You as a potential teammate or person that might be a part of the organization that they're part of, or not the part of the organization that they're part of. Maybe they know someone that you might be a good fit for. So make sure that you're constantly representing you that you want people to know about. Informational interviews is one of the things that people talk about doing on a regular basis. An informational interview consists of connecting with the person, setting up a time to talk with them, with the company, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of their time, to learn more about what their job is, what they do, so that you can make a informed decision about applying for that organization, and also to help you realize the skills that you already have that make you a more marketable person for that organization. Part of the Pathfinder program, that's one of the things we do on a monthly basis. We organize events to where different organizations like HEB, CPS Energy, USAA sponsors luncheons for us, where we provide an opportunity to have people come in and have lunch with corporate level personnel within that organization to talk about what the culture is all about, and also having veterans within the organization to talk about what their transition, what was their transition like, and what are the skills that they utilized during the time that they're in the military that allowed them to be successful in that organization. All in the effort, like I said, for you to make an informed decision and to make you more aware of opportunities that might be out there that you weren't aware of. So informational interviews is definitely something that I encourage people to utilize as much as possible. Some different things to ask maybe during an informational interview is, what does a typical day look like at your job? A day in the life, what does it look like, to get an idea about it? What are the most important skills and abilities that your job requires you to do, to see if it's something that you might be able to accomplish or not be able to accomplish. And, something that we, every service has their core values. What do you think the most important values of your company are? The last thing you want to do is go from an organization that you prided yourself into being in, and then join an organization that, the values and what they're all about doesn't match up with what you want to do. So definitely ask those types of questions. But along with the good questions that you should ask, there are questions that you should definitely avoid. How much money do you make a year? Not a question you want to ask a person doing an information interview. That's definitely not appropriate. Personal question like, are you married? Do you have kids? If they offer that information, that's good, because as I provided you information in the beginning, sometimes, you want people to get to know you on a personal level, but don't be the one to initiate that question to them. What kind of benefits do you have? A lot of information is available online, so make sure you do your own research prior to going to information interviews, so you can look like you are proactive, and just in case the opportunity does present itself, you're prepared for it. And key, remember, never ask for a job during an information interview. That is like a mega no-no. Do not do that. Utilize that opportunity just to gain more information and so that you're better prepared in the future. Do not ask for a job during an interview, nor while you're networking. It's something not to do. Yeah. I forgot to mention, yeah, while you're doing social media, the key thing is you're always being watched. So always be friendly. Present yourself in a way that people would feel warm and welcome approaching you. Because as you're transitioning, oftentimes going to be other people approaching you as well, or being receptive to you asking them for help. So present yourself in a friendly way. Um, one of the slogans I like to use is what you decide is what you invite. So the information that you're putting out there and the vibe that you're putting out there is what you're going to be inviting other people to provide to you. If you're not presenting yourself in an open and welcoming manner, people are going to be less likely to want to interact with you. You never know where a great networking connection might happen. You can be sitting on a bus, chatting before a class or doing something, or at the supermarket, and magically someone that you wouldn't know would be a great connection could be that person. So make sure that you're always ready. This transition is a constant process. All right, you have all this stuff in place now. So how do you maintain your network? Just as much work that went into establishing your network is what's going to be required to maintain your network. Organizing the contacts that you've identified, you have to do that on a regular basis because how do you feel, if somebody reaches out to you only whenever they need something from you? You definitely don't want it to be like that on a transactional basis, as I mentioned before. You want it to be like a relationship, checking in on that person just to see how they're doing, and constantly building and growing with those people so that it becomes more of a relationship and good things happen with them. Whenever you're interacting with people, these different networking events that you go to, make sure that you follow up after the interactions, following up after the interactions and having a thank you ready. Thank you for the communication, for connecting, helping them to remember who you are and what it is that you are about to help them to maybe reach out to you later. Somebody told me one of the key things, while you're attending different networking events, realize the opportunity associated with it. There's more than likely going to be a lot of people there. Don't try to get it all accomplished in one networking event. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. As a relationship, you want to have, kind of build up and grow into whatever it is you want it to be. With any type of tree or plant or whatever it might be, or you plant a seed one day, it's not going to grow overnight. So, and more likely, if it did grow overnight, it might go away just that fast. So, take your time, invest in it, build upon it, so that it's nice and strong and can withstand any challenges that might come up in the future. And while all this is going on, you're growing as a person. But your follow up, be prepared to have communication with them, tell them thank you, and staying connected with them. Sharing information, definitely a key part as far as networking. Personal story, as I was transitioning, I didn't think I had much information to share because I was so military minded. I wasn't able to really make the transition to realize the value and the insight that I had from the military, how it was valuable on the civilian sector as well. But little by little, realizing it's like at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all people and we want to be successful. And the same thing to help you be successful, no matter how much time you were in the military, there's stuff that's going to help you to be successful as well in the civilian sector. So sharing is caring is one of the things that I utilize. And LinkedIn, Facebook, all the different other social media sites are some of the key things that kind of help you sharing information. You kind of get out there, don't just be a receiver of information. Do some research, share information that you're interested in, and that will help open doors and provide opportunities for other people to reach out to you and to get connected as well. So a lot of information in a short period of time. That kind of sums up what I'm talking about as far as branding and networking. Please know that it's an ongoing process, and there's no right or wrong or one way to do it. Get out there and find out what it is that works for you. And some people might work at a faster pace than others. Some might work at a slightly slower pace. You might run across your friend that's just like a natural, magnet to people. They go somewhere and people naturally gravitate to them. If you have to put in a little bit of more effort than the other person, do that because ultimately your success and you are worth it. So do it.